Out the GDP numbers out this morning. Canada's economy, worst performance since 2009, Tyler.
Yeah, and look, there's some good news in the numbers that came out this morning, but we can't ignore the fact that the Fort McMurray wildfire had a devastating impact not only in northern Alberta, but the economy across all of Canada. If we break down the numbers, I'll start with the good numbers first. June, we're actually seeing it go upwards. We actually saw an increase over the month of June of 0.6%. That's good news there. We also see manufacturing went up 1.8%. And of course, if you break it down to the mining, quarrying, oil and gas sector, we saw the first upswing in 4 months. That's up 3.6%. But the bad news, of course, well, look, the second quarter of the year, that's April, May, June, that was the worst year that we've seen since 2009. It declined, the GDP declined 0.4%. If you calculate that at an annualized rate, that's a decline of 1.6%. That's the worst we've seen since the financial recession was really taking its toll on the Canadian economy. And economists at TD, as well as the Bank of Canada, they're pointing the finger at the Fort McMurray wildfire, of course. But we are seeing signs, this is according to economists at TD, that the economy is already reversing course. That's obvious based on the June numbers. Carrying us into the summer, we've had hot weather. That's good for productivity when it comes to the economy. So we can actually expect, hopefully, that the Q3 numbers that we'll be looking at in a few months, they'll actually be able to completely reverse all the declines that we saw in Q2. So a bit of a good news, bad news situation this morning at this point.
All right, but it was expected, so that's good.
That is true. But I should mention this, though. Bank of Canada only expected a decline of 1%. So this is still, not within the forecast of the Bank of Canada itself.
All right, let's talk quickly, if we have a bit of time, about Twitter. Twitter, following Facebook and other social media sites, are going to start paying their users potentially.
Yeah, it's all about getting more engagement as they're trying to compete with Facebook as well as Snapchat. And before we get too excited, this is only rolling out in the United States first, but Twitter is going to have ad sharing agreements with individual users. They used to have it with just corporations like CBS, but pretty soon, individual users who post videos will be able to share 70% of ad revenue generated from the ads on these videos with Twitter. Compare that with YouTube. When we have popular YouTube artists there, they share about 55% of ad revenue. So Twitter's going really hard on this. And like I said, it's all about creating even more engagement among the communities there.
All right, and increasing its users, hopefully. Tyler, thank you.
Thank you, Randy.